I have to upload a video that I took last night.
Something good?
Well, I was extremely annoyed at my piece of shit Toshiba laptop.
Oh, what did I do it?
Yeah, it's Windows Vista Toshiba piece of shit. It lasted about 6 months, I guess. And then became just a fucking it became just a virus machine. I don't know what the fuck happened, but nothing worked on it. It was freezing up all the time. So I got so angry, I punched the monitor, the screen. That wasn't videotaped, but then it made that cracked like thing and turned all wacky colors. So then I did pull out my flip cam and decided to see what would happen if I threw it in the pool.
Oh, wow.
So I took my laptop and threw it in the pool. It doesn't work anymore. It just kind of sinks and then goes dim. It just goes dim and sinks to the bottom, and the end. It's not very exciting.
It isn't the end.
No.
We learned in AI that it'll just stay there alive for
millions
millions of years.
And it'll freeze, and the aliens will find it.
Water.
Oof.
Creepiest scene in movie history ever.
A little odd. He's just fucking sitting there.
Yeah, just kind of Who directed that? That was a Kubrick?
Kubrick and Spielberg were involved together,
right. Yeah. And they just want to remind us all that, after our lives are done, enough time will go by and no one will even remember that we were ever here.
A million years.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Spielberg. That's what I want from my movie. My movie experience.
You ever watch After Man, or what the fuck is that? After Men.
Life After Humans.
Humans or whatever.
Humans, yeah.
No, all those shows creep me out.
Yeah? They show you 100 years.
I already know
50
all that
years
stuff,
after.
but I don't want to be reminded
It's like
of
weeds
it.
would grow in the street, and you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
Life After People. Or World After, Earth After People, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, it's Life After People.
What would happen? How long until the buildings were covered up? I mean, obviously, you get buildings that are 80 stories tall. That's a long time.
It shows you, it's based on different areas. Down in Florida, you'll get the fucking swamp and jungle will encroach on everything really quickly. And then you get something in the Northeast, you're going to need a little more time for big trees to start growing through things. But for the most part, it don't take long for nature to cover up this bullshit we built.
I drive back and forth to Philly a lot for the last 4 or 5 years now, and there was a rest area / service area that they closed down maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It is amazing how much growth has happened.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really done anything with the space. But where you used to drive in is now pretty much all weeds in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
All weeds. You could almost not see the road anymore where you used to pull in.
Isn't that something, how fast that happens? They're showing, what happens to cities. They use a lot of CGI, which is pretty cool. So they kind of show what happens in every major city.
It's also interesting because the architecture for certain cities are different. So, certain cities will crumble way before other cities just because of the way that some of their major landmarks are built.
Why would they crumble?
Just from neglect.
Erosion, corrosion, weather. They show the Eiffel Tower lasted a long fucking time.
You ever walk around ruins?
That's what I'm saying. They last. Ruins last.
Enough time goes by and everything's going to crumble.
Ruins
down
are rocks.
To nothing.
But don't forget, there'll always be evidence of us here because dinosaurs were how many years ago, and they do
10,
find
20
them.
Years, perhaps.
I thought it was longer. They do find them sometimes very close to the surface, 10 feet down, 5 feet down, and that's X amount of million years ago, the Jurassic era, or whatever.
You know what it is though? It's bones. They'll find our bones and shit, but things we leave behind as far as buildings go. What? Maybe some foundations. Cement?
Say an 80 or 90-story building or 70-story buildings fall.
After 10,000 years.
Oh, out of the last 15, 20 stories. That's a long time to cover that much space up.
Yeah, but
they show, what is this after how long?
What does
10,000 years?
Yeah, but
all
does
these
that
buildings?
That makes
there goes the Empire State
Building.
Building.
After 10,000 years?
Yeah, but does that make you feel good that there'll be evidence that we're here, even though we're not here anymore? Who cares? Who cares if some dumb building's still standing thousands?
They
of
also
years
show
from
what
now?
happens to your pets. They just become wild packs of dogs and.
That happens.
Animals. And then they
wait. That happens already.
Yeah.
You know how many old people got pets that are dying, and what do you think happens to those
Eat
pets?
them.
A young relative, goes over to the house and just whistles a happy tune and opens the back door and lets the pet out. What do you think that pet is now?
A wild animal.
On his own.
How long until the Empire State Building and stuff like that collapsed? Major structures.
I'm not sure what that
years.
was.
Really?
No.
Would it really stand that
sooner
long?
Than that. It's got to be sooner than that. I would say it would have to be. I give it 200 years.
No way.
200 years.
Look at the pyramids; they're still standing.
Yeah, but they're not based on a steel structure. Once that steel starts rusting, it's over, Johnny.
Empire State Building's a lot of brick.
A lot of windows, leakage, weather gets inside. I don't know. Maybe longer.
Because look at the Coliseum. Maybe because it's a certain height. Maybe the Empire State Building would be worse because there's so much weight. And it's narrow compared to the Coliseum. I don't know.
That is
200 years.
Are you shitting me?
200 years.
Give yourself a bill!
I'm right on the fucking button there.
With no
First one of the day.
Large structures, this is after 200 years, large structures such as the Empire State Building, Sears Tower, Space Needle, and Eiffel Tower would collapse due to corrosion, invasive plant life, and groundwater destabilizing their foundations.
Wow. That's fucked up, man, huh?
Not really.
Well, the pyramids are there and shit, and there's ruins where you could go, but think of how much shit was there that you don't see because it's totally gone.
You got to think the windows blew out at least 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
At the pyramids.
Yeah, the windows are gone.
Yeah,
you don't see them
windows
anymore.
Are gone.
I mean, think about it. You see the pyramids, and then what? Like, what do you think? They just built the pyramids and said, "Okay, let's leave." There was probably a whole bunch of stuff around there that's just gone.
Oh, really? Like a roller coaster and stuff?
According to the show, 10,000 years after people, the pyramids will still remain.
Wow.
And also, the faces at Mount Rushmore will survive and probably for hundreds of thousands of years.
Hundreds of thousands of years.
Because that was carved into rock.
It says our bones, rubber, plastic, and styrofoam might be the last remnants of humanity.
Fucking goddamn McDonald's boxes and shit and water bottles.
Just blowing
along. Long after we're all just fucking
when everything
not even a thought of us left.
When everything gets quiet again, finally.
And then there was one episode about you'd still hear human voices after a while because of parrots and birds that had learned to talk. So they would be flying around. So even though there's no people, you'd hear like, "Hello, hello."
No, that would have to be after like a nuclear explosion or something.
Well, they never say how the people disappear.
Yeah, but how are the parrots going to survive more than a few years after humans?
That's who
10,
knows?
20 years, whatever.
They get out the house, motherfucker.
Parrots could live for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every human has to die, and then you got to hope a parrot's still around.
Well, they never say how the people leave. They just said this is what life would be like if people just disappeared without the damage of like a meteor or something like this. People just gone, and then they see what we left, how long it would take for it to like crumble.
Do you walk around the city and do like math problems?
No.
Well,
no.
They
no.
take
got an iPhone.
They take a lot for granted in this city. I always think, like, God forbid there's a real major disaster way worse than 9/11, right?
Yeah.
Could all the people fit on the streets of New York at the same time?
Oh, right. Could they actually
I do
leave?
like math equations like that. I'm like, all right, all these tall, massive buildings all around you, filled with people. Now all those people have to leave. It's not even a question. Everyone has to get out immediately. Yeah. What would the streets look like? Would there be enough room for all the people? And I don't know the answer.
I say yes.
I think so.
Look at Broadway, New Year's Eve, Times Square. That's just a few blocks, and there's 1 million people.
All right, say it's like that for the entire island of Manhattan, though.
Well, there's only 9. Say there's maximum, was it 9 million people in Manhattan? I'm guessing.
Hey, see, Jimmy's figuring it out.
That is pretty good.
I like this.
You could pretty easily do it.
You get 1 million people just in that area. You spread them out all over Manhattan. Yeah, I think you could do that.
Okay.
I say yes.
The rest stop is the what? What? Bob and PA. Bob.
Yo, guys.
Hey, Bob.
How you doing?
All right, Bob.
On 295, that was the Hoo rest stop. That one you're talking about.
Oh, was it?
Well, this
that was on the Hoo. That what's her name? What was the woman governor?
Oh, Christine Todd Whitman.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Christy Todd Whitman.
Why is that rest area falling apart?
Yeah, that's the one.
Actually, the one I'm talking about is on the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
Oh, okay. No. Oh, yeah, I got you there. But the one on 295, that's growing over too.
Yeah, I hated that one. The glory hole's much too high. You had to stand on your tippy toes.
I agree. I concur.
Well, the truckers know what I'm talking about. You see these old rest areas or service areas that they closed down a while ago, and it's pretty amazing how fast the stuff starts growing back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, though. Right over the Pensy Turnpike right there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And there's one still on the other side of the road that's open, and it's amazing the difference between the two. A mere 2 years. The change is unbelievable.
Faces
All
on
right,
Mount
guys,
Rushmore.
thanks,
Bob.
Hundreds of thousands of years,
Of
huh?
course.
Eventually, erosion would get them, I guess, right? I mean, like you say, 1 billion years from now, would there be any signs? Even the dinosaurs aren't 1 billion years old.
You would probably have to really do some, archaeology to find trace of people after 1 billion fucking years.
All right,
Jesus.
Would be funny. The only thing left was like a 7-Eleven somewhere in Ronkonkoma, and it was pristine.
Perfectly standing, windows there,
Candy
everything.
so fresh you could eat it.
Magazines.
All right, I got
Not current though by 1 billion years.
1 billion years old, of course.
the trivia question going into break, and you guys think about this, okay?
Oh, I like this.
And then we could debate if this is would actually be true.
Let's debate and kiss.
What would be
Right.
the last remnant of humans living?
On the whole earth.
The last thing.
I say
Last thing.
felt hats,
Ridiculous.
We've been going.
broccoli spears.
We've been going 1 million years. Just go ridiculous amount of time. What would be the last remnant of
Last
human
thing.
beings? That's how I'm going to phrase the question.
Last thing that would identify that we were even here.
Everything else is gone.
Yeah.
The second most thing is gone. There's only one thing remaining that proves humans ever existed. What would that be? Wow. Think about it during the break.
Very
And turn off your screens.
scared.
I don't want you getting any help today.
I won't blurt it out, but I do know the answer.
Oh, you know it.
For real?
Yep.
Look at Jimmy's acting. Look at Jimmy acting. I
mean,
love the acting, Jim.
There's no way to prove it.
Well, that's what we could debate.
Sure.
What would be the last thing remaining that proved that we existed, that we ever lived? So the question is, long after we're gone, human beings, we're talking, you can't even comprehend how many years.
Yep.
What will be the last thing that remains that proves that we ever existed? It's open for debate, I think, too.
Yeah, it certainly is.
I mean, you could start saying, we could go easy. The George Washington Bridge. All right, then another 10,000 years go by. Now that's gone. You know what I mean? So you got to really think about this one. Mount Rushmore. Is it Mount Rushmore?
Nope.
No. I think I got it.
I wrote one down, too.
I have 4 possibilities.
I didn't write one down because I don't have a pen.
Here's your pen. Write it down so we know you're not cheating.
Thank you for the pen.
Someone wrote, cut diamonds. But how does that prove that humans existed?
Circumcision has nothing to do with it.
I liked your other line about cut diamonds you said during the break, though.
What did I say?
What they were being clenched in.
Oh, yeah, it's a bunch of cut diamonds, and you have to unwrap the Jewish hand from them. That's a Jewish joke.
Nothing wrong with a Jewish joke.
Leftic humor.
So, you want to just all turn them over?
I have 4 possibilities, so I have 1 of 4. I can't pick one.
Oh, you have to pick
I
one.
can't.
It's
I
only
can
one.
write 4 things.
It's just one thing.
It goes
you
against
must pick one thing.
It goes against the whole question.
My cock.
Because I could come up with 4 things, then you got to think, well, out of those 4 things, which one?
It's got to be one thing. Yeah,
Right.
which one lasts longer?
Right,
in those
Jimmy.
4. So those 4 things are left. Go another million years.
All right,
past.
I will.
What's still going to be there?
Okay.
And you know what? I agree with Greg on Long Island. Well, let's take a few phone calls before we go with the answers in the studio. Greg on Long Island, I agree with Greg. Yes, Greg.
I have 2, actually.
Okay.
How come he can have 2? I can't have 4.
Can't have 2.
I'm hoping it's my Demented World CD.
Oh, those things.
That
will
would be one
absolutely.
of the 4 on my list. Thank you, sir.
And the other would be Fudgy Wudgy Bars.
Fudgy Wudgy Bar.
Oh, those are cool.
That won't even last the afternoon.
You ever read the ingredients in that? It's got to last forever.
When it, boo.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday, Opie.
It's my birthday?
No, it's my
Wait,
birthday.
is it my birthday? Oh, it's not my birthday.
Aw.
I had to think for a moment.
Well, the ironic part is it's 7/19, and July 19th is my birthday. How crazy is that? Not at all.
Well,
who's going to believe you, though?
I know. It's your
5
birthday
more
every day.
days.
That's your birthday.
5 more days is your birthday again?
So basically,
seems like it's only been a year.
Basically, July 19th is the only day that it's not your birthday.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
All right, let's go with the answers in studio. Ready?
My birthday.
You want to go first, Dan? Because they're all written down, so we can turn them over.
I'm turning it over.
All right. The question, long after we're gone, what will be the last thing remaining that proves that we ever existed?
Here it is. Lunar junk. Lunar junk. I believe all of our crap that is on the moon will remain there in a semi-pristine condition.
Are we playing? What?
I was thinking that very same thing.
Yeah.
But then the question wasn't it really about Earth? Like it was on Earth or just people?
And said Earth, and I said the question exactly the same without acknowledging you ever said
I
Earth.
realized you said.
I knew you picked up on my tell.
You then said that humans never existed.
Right.
It wasn't on Earth.
I just reiterated the question I initially
I don't
said.
care where it is.
And with
you could
that,
also say, okay.
And with that, we got a match. Match game. I went with flag on the moon.
Oh, I thought you meant me on the moon.
You're both wrong.
You left out. You put in an extra letter.
Flag on the moon.
I had paper airplanes. That was my guess. Paper airplanes.
I didn't even think of that.
My second answer was cotton candy.
Mine was hardened white duty. And I also had pencil sharpeners and a John and Ponch Chips action figures. Those were the 4.
Well, now I understand why you can pick just
Yeah,
one.
that is hard to pick.
But no, I disagree with lunar stuff because it's only been there for 35 years. The moon takes a beating because of the lack of atmosphere. Now, the lack of atmosphere is, you go, well, maybe it won't erode. But look at how cratered up and destroyed the moon's surface is because of the beating it takes because there's no atmosphere to stop incoming shit. That stuff will probably be gone in a couple hundred years, 1,000 years.
I wouldn't think so.
Dust will blow over it.
How about, well, the debris is still there, even if it gets...
In our, from 69. I mean, what is it, 40 years?
Things still there, as shiny as hell.
40 years. Yeah. Sure, but you wait. All it takes is one thing to smash into it. There's no atmosphere stopping that. So all these things that are stopped from hitting things at the surface of the Earth hit the moon.
So what's going to out-survive this stuff on the moon?
What about like the Voyager satellite that's been thrust out of our own solar system?
I actually wrote down Voyager, but the reason I don't know is because Voyager can easily be destroyed by just hitting a meteor, or it can be easily swallowed up by some type of a flame. That's an easy one.
Okay,
we should have stuck with just
Killjoy.
We should have stuck with just Earth, because that's where.
Well, those just things they're in such dangerous positions out there. I don't think Voyager will be 100,000 years from now, like Mount Rushmore. No way would that be going.
We all were thinking space, which was smart.
So we're supposed to go like pyramids.
I don't know.
Goddamn
What would be the last?
pyramids.
What would be the last thing that survives on Earth?
Cut diamonds might be it. I mean, I don't know how long they last because they prove that there was craftsmanship of some sort or not natural design.
True.
Let me go with Phil in New Mexico.
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
We have to say it like
Mexico.
Spanish. Mexico.
Hey, guys. Hey, just want to say maybe Anthony's hair implants might last.
Not implants. Follicles.
The implants will last a long time.
They're follicles.
All right, guys.
That's it?
Let's go to Jeff. Jeff?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Your theory about the moon stuff has got to be wrong because I think the moon gets impacted significantly every 20 to 50,000 years. That stuff will probably be gone. I think Jimmy's right. I think it's actually nuclear waste.
Or nuclear.
I say nuclear, too.
That's actually not a bad answer.
Wait, how do you say it?
Nuclear.
He
says nuclear.
Oh, nuclear?
No.
Nuclear.
Nuclear.
It's nuclear. You said nuclear.
It's
dead.
Who gives a shit?
That's a bad answer anyway. People are already living in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And we fucking nuked the shit out of those places. Everyone's fine.
Yeah.
You say nuclear waste.
Like spent fuel rods, things like that.
Yep.
I like it.
Melted down reactors.
I like it.
No.
Let me go
They'll be
with
blown over.
Let me go with Brian in Illinois. Brian?
Good morning, boys.
Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hands down, the thing that's going to outlast everybody is Christmas fruitcake.
I
Who
get
doesn't
it.
enjoy a good Christmas fruitcake joke?
I don't.
You don't, Jimmy?
I despise them. They remind me of having my hiney diddled by strange men.
That sounds fun.
Well, cut diamonds was a great. Some listeners suggested that. How long do they last? Because the erosion will eventually knock the faces, the fucking heads on the mountains will eventually be knocked off by erosion.
Yeah.
Right. They'll be smoothed over.
In a billion years, those things will be fucking toast.
Well, I've heard that they're already having problems with cracking and then water gets in there and freezes and they've
expands.
had to put cables up to hold shit.
Sure.
So what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Goddamn stupid face is going to fall off.
Yeah, they're going to fall off.
Right.
Thank you, sir. I enjoyed the fruitcake joke.
I didn't.
I don't even know why we continue making those fucking things. No one eats them.
I love fruitcake.
You actually eat fruitcake.
No,
I mean,
he
it's a
doesn't.
nickname.
Who the fuck eats fruitcakes? But you see them every holiday. Some dumb relative brings it over.
Yeah.
And then you look at that dumb relative and go, yeah, I know. You don't like me. Well, guess what? I don't like you either.
Or your fruitcake.
Sit down and have your plate of fucking
That
turkey.
green
and get
fucking-
the fuck out of my house.
That hard green thing in there that just tastes like shit.
Dude, I don't even think I've ever bitten into a piece of fruitcake. I'm sure I did once.
I've
It's
tried to
awful.
eat around. I was starving once. I tried to eat around
Right.
all that crap that's inside and just get the cakey part.
Yeah.
And even that sucked. And it's just chock full of ugh.
Anthony, a lot of people trying to figure out what would be the last thing that remains long past humans are gone.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, Howard Stern's ego is not the answer.
Oh, my goodness.
Fetal Scrapings Smith writes. And he wrote that from a dumpster.
Oh, dumpster. Well.
No, that's not the answer. I'm sorry. How about this one? Tom in Chicago. Tom.
Hey, I got two of them, guys. Good morning.
White Sox or Cubs?
I'm afraid White Sox.
No, I think White Sox is the cooler team in Chicago, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I think. Although
Obama president now.
Is Elo a cool dude?
I think so, yeah. I just love that I can't understand a word of what's his name, the manager, what's his name. I can't, when he's talking. Yeah, what the hell is his name, man? I can't remember what's wrong with me.
Ozzie Guillen, right.
When he gets all pissed off, you can't understand a word he's saying. I think it's a defense. It's a planned defense mechanism.
Could we get some Ozzie Guillen audio today for Tom in Chicago? That would be nice.
But seriously,
yeah, what do you
back
got, Tom?
to what will survive.
Yeah.
One, Artie Lang's liver. And secondly, though, the serious answer, radio transmissions in space.
Radio transmissions in space.
Danny's shaking his head no. Why,
is that
Danny?
an acceptable answer?
That's
No,
Andy?
because
Why?
transmissions, radio and TV transmissions actually degrade over a couple of light years into static.
true.
So
Yeah.
a couple light years away from Earth, and you have no idea what's going on here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Fiddlesticks.
But are we looking for
But hold on, a couple of light years though.
Are we looking for a physical item? We got to adjust this question a little bit. And are we looking for the last item remaining on Earth?
I think it's anything that proves that we existed, or anything on Earth that proves we existed.
Well, we lived here.
I'm sticking with Artie's liver then.
All right, thanks,
Right.
Tom.
I'm punching out.
All right, man.
It's such a tough. There's so many things, and then you think, and then you just think, well, all right, billion years, that's gone.
Yeah.
Bones. I mean, how long will bones last? Because bones seem pretty sturdy.
Yeah, well, bones.
I mean, it's going to be one of the last things remaining. According to the show, Life After People, aside from bones and plastics and stuff like that, one thing that they said would survive for quite some time is stuff made out of solid granite and concrete, like the concrete pedestal of the Statue of Liberty.
I was going to say hell no with the concrete.
Oh, wow.
Most concrete sucks.
But why? How long?
That's 10,000 years, but who
No,
knows?
we're talking, say,
I
20
understand,
million.
But I mean, that's going to be, as far as they know, I mean, and the stuff that will remain past that will probably be so buried, you'd have to actually dig up a whole bunch of earth to find it.
Well, below the Earth, I bet you a lot of stuff remains because once it's in the Earth, it might stay that way forever.
Let's adjust the question again.
Oh, my God.
You have to see it. What's the last thing you see?
Shit. The last thing you actually see, like someone's walking around going...
Then that has to be something
Some alien...
that's quite tall.
Yeah, it's a structure. It's the top of a structure.
Or is it?
But what if the structure, collapses before the big mudslides or whatever?
I'm going to go with airplane. Well, it's the highest thing.
It's not. It won't be in the sky, Opie.
It won't fly.
Why not?
I don't know.
They're running out of fuel.
Flags at the top of Mount Everest.
Oh, fucking! I got
Now
blown
you're
off.
fucking talking.
That's terrible.
Now you're fucking. What?
Snow will cover it.
No, it won't.
Sure, we'll get blown off.
I get blown off.
Have you ever been to the top of Mount Everest?
Tattered
I've done
ragged.
4 trips up there. I'm the Sherpa kid.
That's what they call Jimmy.
Yeah.
Who brought you? Ted the Sherpa?
Yes. This is as high as I go, 300 feet.
Oh, oxygen bottles on
Ted,
Everest. That's a good one.
But Ted, we paid you to go all the way to the top.
Yes, but I'm tired. I hate heights.
But it said in the brochure that you'll bring us to the top.
I didn't write the brochure. That'd be my cousin, Ted the brochure maker. He's very inaccurate.
Well, now what? We traveled all this way to get to the top of the mountain.
Yes, have a good trip and talk to me on the way down. I'll hold your hat.
Ted the Sherpa sucks.
Ted the Sherpa runs out of steam relatively quickly, Gregory.
We get the point, though. Porno CDs, styrofoam. Dust can't blow over things on the moon because there is no atmosphere.
Yeah,
Jimmy is an idiot.
No, I'm not, because there is no atmosphere, but there is some kind of you do have space wind and stuff like that, Rob.
Space wind.
Space wind? What's space wind?
You have some kind of.
Jimmy, where is there an atmosphere on the moon?
I know there's not an atmosphere on the moon.
I love how he asked the question laughing.
But there,
Jimmy, you idiot.
But there is some kind of there's a very, very light atmosphere on the moon, I think. I don't know. It does move a little bit. It doesn't never move, dude.
There's gravity, but no atmosphere. A little bit of gravity, no atmosphere.
None whatsoever?
None atmosphere. There's a little bit of gravity, and
I don't believe that it can't.
It's very dusty.
I don't believe that dust can't, in 50,000 or 100,000 years, blow over those things.
It would, if there's an impact of a meteor.
Maybe that.
Then dust would kind of spread out because you get some gravity, so it would get up into the surrounding area, and then it'd settle back down, I guess.
As far as impacts go, this is the quiet stage of the solar system. You know, when the Earth is like 4-point-something billion years old, and like the first couple billion years when it was developing, there was impacts all the time. You know, that's why the moon looks like that. But there can be millions of years before there's like another impact that like is like perfectly timed out to hit the moon, you know? So,
well, plus how long?
I think those will be there for a long time.
Maybe they will do, but how long are they actually going to last just standing there? I mean, you talk about rust and corrosion. Is there any kind of corrosion?
No, corrosion happens from atmosphere, from water, from.
What about stuff?
Nothing.
What about stuff like the radiation in space or any of the elements in space? Space is a deadly, vicious place.
Then the sun itself could probably, if it was like over millions of years, just like the rays or the ultraviolet that comes from the sun could probably damage it, but that's like
I'm not even sure of that.
Millions and billions of years.
I don't know. I wish I would. I mean, what you're saying is interesting, but I want to hear somebody else's opinion on that because I don't believe that there's no way dust. There is space wind. I know there's some kind of wind in space.
Solar winds they call it.
Solar winds. I'm sorry. Yes,
solar winds.
You missed Rob's comment.
That is very funny.
Drive the truck.
I'm
not a scientist.
I like that line.
I want to say the Devil's,
Thank you, sir.
It's Devil's Tower.
Devil's Tower? Where's that?
Devil's Tower,
That
Wyoming.
Scary.
I have one.
You have one, Dan?
What about the Great Wall of China?
No. You know you can see it from space.
It'll last a long time.
One of how many? The only man-made structure you can see from space?
That's a rumor.
Wow.
No, also the one in Vegas with the light.
The Grand Canyon.
No, that's not man-made.
Oh, we didn't.
Someone dug that out. Yes,
we didn't dig that out.
It's a foundation for a big building that they didn't build.
Oh, I was mistaken.
Devil's Tower wasn't man-made. Hey, fucko. How do you know the Devil's Tower wasn't made? Look up the Devil's Tower monument, national monument.
It's too scary.
And you tell me that fucking Teddy Roosevelt had nothing to do with the Devil's Tower monument. And if you're right, I won't bounce you.
How about gold bars?
Well, gold is one of the softer metals, Greg. And I don't know how long a soft metal lasts.
Diamonds last longer than gold?
I think they do. Yeah.
Cut diamonds?
I think so, sure.
Yeah. How the fuck is gold bar going to start eroding? You answer that question.
I don't know how gold is. Maybe will it break down or no?
We got a lot of great answers coming in. Let's go to Mike in New York. Mike?
Mike?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hi.
I don't think it was man-made.
So yeah, I wanted to say the World Trade Center site because it's still going to look the same in a billion years.
Oh, wow.
That's the truth.
That's one for the New Yorkers.
I got to agree with you on that one.
Thank you, Mikey. Matt.
Yeah, I learned from the great documentary Planet of the Apes that the Statue of Liberty is going to be the only thing left.
Good point.
Wasn't a
Great documentary. Well, it could be.
Fucking Matt. Funniest listeners in radio. We got it.
The Statue of Liberty.
Dan in
Damn you all
Cleveland.
to hell.
Dan.
Yeah, I was wondering if Ant would like to know what Doc Brown thinks is the last thing left on Earth.
Oh, yes, Doc Brown.
Would he be able to figure it out?
Probably that pine farm.
He would. The Pine Farm.
Well, Steamfitter Rich writes rubber dicks will be the last thing.
Dildos?
Yeah, rubber. No, he just writes rubber dicks.
Rubber dicks.
Yeah.
Wow. I really, now I just have no idea. I'm so confused now. The ships that were sunk for artificial reefs. Shut up.
Rich from New Hampshire. The last thing on Earth will be Al Pacino's lifts.
Yeah. My lips.
Make me taller than the Great Pyramids. Look, my wig got knocked off by solar winds.
Wendy from the great city of Cincinnati, who has the mayor that throws like a girl.
Yeah.
Titanium fake legs, also known as spatula legs.
Spatula feet.
Will be the last things remaining.
Yeah.
Al from Connecticut, you're forgetting the most obvious thing. The last thing left on the planet will be a Foundry Music logo. It's called Lunar Winds.
Solar winds, dummy.
Cartman from Indiana writes that. Satellites trapped in Earth's orbit. What about that one, Ant?
They'll eventually crash and burn up in the atmosphere.
That's a stupid answer.
McDonald's Arch will be the last thing remaining.
No.
The Russian flag beneath the North Pole. What's that about?
I don't know, but
They have a flag in the ice somewhere?
The ice?
who will see that?
Yeah, no one's going to see it.
No one knows where that is.
Roger
Flags
C.
ain't-
from Atlanta. Tippy Tom's petrified underwear.
Oh, a banana, my tippy top.
And, of course, missing the obvious hack answer. I like how this guy writes this. It's going to be Keith Richards.
Right, great.
Let's go to TJ in North Carolina. TJ.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey.
I think the last thing that's going to be left is a wasteland of rubber penises, dildos, cock rings, and pocket pussies.
All in a landfill.
Wouldn't that be great if that was just our legacy?
Yeah.
Except for
Sex
Alabama.
toys.
That would be great.
Alabama and the Middle East.
All right.
Thank you, sir. We're going to try to get Dr. Kaku on the phone if he's up.
Dr. Michio Kaku.
Time is like a river. We know. We got it.
There are eddies, swirling whirlpools and rocks that deflect time. And what?
The last thing. He'll give some funny answer first.
Yeah.
I would like to know his opinion.
Yeah.
Flavor Flav's Teeth is coming in. Iron Cheeks Piss Pants. That's Jay from New York.
Piss pants.
Matthew. Peter Frampton Comes Alive Records. Nicoliki's gravel-filled implants.
Jesus Christ. Wow. That's a little harsh.
It's been a year, bro. Jesus. Let it go. Diamond's already over 1 billion years old. How hard would it be to last another billion or two? That's the question this person asked.
Yeah,
I'll tell that person he's
cut
shit.
diamonds, I think, are a real biggie, man.
By the way, instant feedbackers with the cell phones, write your name or you don't get credit. I don't know what I could read your phone number for your credit.
Would beings look at that, cut diamonds, and think it's a natural formation? Like somehow these crystallized in that shape naturally, or would they think that like we look at an arrowhead and know that, it was kind of cut out of something?
If they're advanced enough to get here, they would understand completely what's not a natural.
Maybe they just really know how to build great spaceships, but they're fucking retarded.
They have spaceships made out of rocks and wood. Ugh.
Just mongoloids getting out of a ship. They're just really good at space travel. They stink at everything else. They pick up a fucking pebble and go, "And there, people."
They understand thermonuclear physics, but they still rape their women and wear loincloths and shit on their own feet. Bunch of dummies. Through a wormhole in space.
Just one side of their head is really giant.
Yeah. That side that
that you would need to get here. I don't know what fucking side it would
brain.
be. What side would be the big part of the brain? And by the way, Keith J. in Niagara Falls, I was right about the Grand Canyon. It was built by millions of people.
Yes.
With millions of little spoons.
Is that it? And they all just took one spoonful.
Yeah.
That's how many people that were there.
That was your job, to take one spoonful and walk many, many miles and dump it somewhere. Scott in Ontario.
Hey, I was wondering if I could give Opie a call on his styrofoam.
Did I say
styrofoam?
Did I say that? Fuck. You might as well start a list of my pofas.
You call Rich Voss on it.
I'm going to call you out. You live in Canada. Nothing.
Frickin' dummy.
Joe in Idaho. Joe.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Joe.
How's the potato state?
Oh, damn good, damn good. Happy birthday, Yimmy.
What's up, Joe?
Well, the one thing that's going to last forever, gentlemen, is Patty's virginity.
Oh, yeah. How old is Patty these days? I know
she's got diamonds beat by 4 years, 8 months.
I know we lost her to the Ron and Fez show years ago. How's she doing?
Oh, my goodness.
She doing good?
I don't know. Haven't heard from her
either.
I'm sure she would stop by. I think people are scared to come by.
She's coming by in a couple weeks, actually.
Oh, is she?
Oh, we can't wait.
Thank God.
Goody.
Thank God.
Goody gumdrops.
Wait, someone is saying your answer is the correct one. Fred and PA. Fred?
Hey, got Anthony's exhaust.
Exhaust.
Oh,
that's right. It doesn't last a week.
Oh, you fucker.
Holy shit.
He's beating on my automobile. Automobile?
And I guess that's it. Opie's stinky sweatpants will outlive everything. I'm trying to see if there's any other good answers. So, what is the answer? We don't really have an answer.
No, we never got an answer. We just kind of discussed.
I kind of like the moon stuff.
We put it out there, and you discuss. Right.
Moon stuff will be gone. Moon stuff will be gone in a couple thousand years.
Diamonds or nuclear shit?
I say diamonds.
Cut diamonds. Yes. That's what I think.
What about an ice rink?
Depends on where it is.
During the Ice Age.
You know, the one I'm proposing in Honolulu doesn't have a shot. I'm proposing outdoor hockey in Honolulu, and I've dumped $2,400,000 into this thing already. We can't get the ice to freeze. I mean, the water to freeze.
Wow. NORAD. Someone's saying NORAD.
Where is NORAD?
That's pretty good.
Nah, 'cause
it's in a mountain.
I hear NORAD doesn't really exist.
Wouldn't continental shifts and stuff crush it?
I don't know. Maybe. You might be right.
But they take a long time. Act like they happen every 8 months.
God, there's something like there's something that'll wreck everything. You know, no matter what you think of, something can wreck it.
How about Opie's first communion money?
Oh, damn! That's a goof on your thriftiness. That you still have your communion money. You never spent it because you're cheap.
Oh, that's
hurts. What that man was saying.
That hurts. That'll leave a bruise. Oh, that hurts.
Damn.
And then going back to that crappy underwater hotel in Florida, someone writes.
That piece of shit.
We hate that place.
Yeah, that'll be gone by 2011.
Moldy fucking death trap.
As much as we love Blanket and the fact that he hates the light, God, we hate that underwater hotel in Florida.
He'd like it.
The biggest wasted time and money ever.
There is no answer.
How many people leave that dumb thing and go, wow, that's a big disappointment?
What a fucking waste of time that was.
Didn't we get somebody that worked there talk about all the fucking mold and...
It sucks. It's just so wet and musty. It smells like fucking feet.
Just moist everywhere.
Ew.
In a second, but we got the great Dr. Kaku on the phone.
Oh, good.
Dr. Kaku.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
You remember us, Opie and Anthony and Jim Norton?
How can I forget?
I like that. I like how you think.
Yes.
We have a quick question. We were throwing around this dumb question today, Ant.
Yeah. Yeah. We were wondering what part of humanity would survive the longest over time after we were all gone to prove that we were here on Earth. What
the last
type
thing.
Of structure? The last
thing to go
that would be that would exist that would give someone an indication that we had been here.
Well, if I were to take a stab at it, I think gigantic stone structures. Like in the desert, we have the pyramids made out of limestone,
And the desert has very little water, water is one of the main reasons why things decay and fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little water in the desert. So I think that structures like the pyramids and things like that, the pyramids already are 4,000 years old. And so I think structures like that may survive because there's very little water in the desert, and the sands will cover up most objects. And so when future people dig them up, they'll find these gigantic pyramids again.
Say the pyramid. So something that was.
Well, do you think more than say something like cut diamond? Because the diamond itself was natural, but the cut proves that people were here or something was there. How long would a cut diamond last?
Oh, that would last for a long time. If you now talk about geologic structures, they could last even longer. They could last for hundreds of thousands to millions of years. Okay, wow. But if you talk about man-made structures like houses, buildings, automobiles, and things that we can see and touch, those things will probably disintegrate pretty rapidly within a few centuries to a few thousand years.
Sure.
But and again, water, erosion are some of the main enemies. So in the desert, you don't have that problem.
How about Anna had said possibly stuff on the moon? Like
I said that too, Jimmy.
I said lunar
Okay,
junk.
I didn't agree because I thought that something would hit it. Or how long do you think like the evidence that we were on the moon will be up there?
Well, just go with the flag that's up there.
Well, yeah. Right.
Actually, on the scale of hundreds of millions to billions of years, most of the craters date back to the age of meteors, 3.5 billion to 4.5 billion years on the moon. And so the erosion that takes place is extremely slow. There is a slight amount of erosion on the moon, but over billions of years. And so those footprints could be there for hundreds of millions to billions of years from now.
Wow.
Okay, so the stuff that's on the moon now, and there's no way that dust or dirt will blow over it because there's no atmosphere?
No.
The only way that they would erode is if they have meteor impact, and that's why the surface of the moon is dusty, because of meteors that collided with the moon and created debris and dust. And so the moon is not perfectly pristine like you might think, because there's a small amount of erosion going on. But structures on the moon, the craters, they date back 3.5 billion years.
So, like the base of the lunar module, the lunar rover, things like that will be there for many, many years.
Yeah, long past most structures on the Earth have been grown over with vegetation and eroded with water and rust. Structures on the moon, just like the desert, where there's very little water, the moon has almost no water. And so structures like that will last an awful long time, because it's water and erosion that are the main enemies of structures.
And how about something like we talked about, like the Voyager 1 spacecraft that had been sent out? How long do you give that, or do you think that will eventually just crash into something?
Well, eventually it will crash into something, but not for quite a while. It takes about 70,000 years for a spacecraft from Earth to reach just like the nearest star, and so that thing's going at roughly 40,000 miles an hour, and so it'll take many thousands of years before it bumps into anything.
Yeah, there's nothing in the way. It's just pretty much a void. Vacuum.
Yeah,
and we talked about radio waves, and one of our guys said that radio waves die after a certain time. How far will radio waves travel where they could possibly be picked up by somebody who is listening or has an ability to listen?
Well, they'll go on forever. However, the intensity goes down, of course, as the inverse square. So the farther you go out, the more they diminish. But in principle, the Opie and Anthony show will go out forever throughout the universe.
He loves my.
But does it just become, because our guy Danny, who does kind of have a basic physics understanding. I don't know how, because he dropped out of third grade.
I was under the impression that TV and radio waves degrade to static over the course of 1 to 2 light years.
Well, they will gradually interfere with other things because of random collisions and stuff like that. Ultimately, they go down to like 3 degrees above absolute zero. That's the temperature of outer space. So ultimately, all communications will degrade down to 3 degrees above absolute zero, which is, of course, the static of outer space. When you turn on your radio and you are in between stations and you get static, a few percent of that static comes from the Big Bang, the creation of the universe. So you're actually listening to Genesis when you hear the static on the radio.
Genesis? What's that?
It's a band. They were a great band.
That was from Wrath of Khan, by the way.
A lot of the static you hear on the radio comes from the planet Jupiter. And some of it does come from the Big Bang, the original Big Bang, 13.7 billion years ago.
Now, if it degrades to 3 degrees above zero, which was actually what I said, that it would degrade to 3 degrees above absolute zero.
Too.
Can someone pick that up as a communication or decipher what's being said?
If they're very good at it, they can find regularities. Right now, the 3-degree radiation is everywhere. It's inside your body. It's inside your living room. It's inside outer space. It's all random, static. But an intelligent species might be able to pick out regular patterns.
So hypothetically,
verbal communication.
Like this chat that we're having right now is being beamed into outer space. So let's say 10, 20 light years down the road, some other intelligence is picking this up. I mean, they're not hearing what's actually happening right now. They're just hearing patterns of static, correct?
Well, there'll be some messages that you'll be able to hear. Even beyond that, there'll be some messages that survive. However, a large amount of it will be degraded with time.
As long as our
But again, we are talking about enormous distances from the planet Earth.
Sure.
But yeah, eventually it will degrade.
So our guy Danny the Fool was incorrect when he said that apparently radio waves die before they get to Schenectady.
From what it was my understanding that they don't really make it past 2 light years.
Well, I would have to do the calculation. It depends on the intensity, the wattage. Like a good radio station will broadcast at 50,000 watts.
Yeah.
And a good 50,000 watt signal should survive even past that point. Because we are scanning for stars. We're scanning for very faint signals from, planets in outer space that are more than 2 light years. And we expect some of their TV and radio emissions to reach the Earth.
And we do communicate with satellites that are very far away from us with radio signals. So
but only like 20,000 miles. Geosynchronous satellites are only about 20,000 miles.
Well, that's what I mean. But still, commands have to be sent out to the Mars landers and things like that.
But the Mars lander is about 20 minutes away by radar and by radio.
Oh.
So to send a round-trip signal to the Mars lander and back would be about 40 minutes.
Oh, that's nice.
As opposed, right, because radio waves travel at the speed of light, so it will basically take light 40 minutes to travel that distance. Am I correct?
20 minutes to get to Mars and another 20 minutes to get back.
Dr. Kaku, I got a question. What about rubber dicks? That came up in our... No, that really did come up in our discussion. Some people are convinced that would be the last thing that would survive on Earth.
Well, I think, like I said, I think they'll degrade much earlier. Anything that's in the city that encounters erosion will be basically overgrown by plants, vegetation, animals within a few hundred years.
Right.
And then within a few thousand years, just the rust, the rust and the lack of maintenance, a lot of buildings will start to collapse.
Sure.
Even in Manhattan, after about 100 years, buildings in Lower East Side collapse all by themselves.
Yeah.
Just of the faint vibrations of the subway cars is enough to collapse buildings in Manhattan.
How about stuff like someone to the Statue of Liberty base, which is like concrete but not that high, where it wouldn't just like fall? I mean, that got to have a couple 100,000 years in it?
I think that the Statue of Liberty is not going to last that long on a scale of just, centuries. We all saw Planet of the Apes, right? We're all shocked when Charlton Heston saw the Statue of Liberty sitting in the ocean, right? That's actually a credible scenario because, again, erosion, lack of maintenance, the overgrowth of algae and different kinds of organisms growing on the skin.
And a visit from Wendy Williams.
Structure.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what was that again?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what we were discussing. Yeah. Well, Dr. Kaku, couldn't have been happier. This is the guy we needed to talk to, guys.
Yeah, we got to the bottom of this. So
Finally.
The pyramids would pretty much be the last structure on Earth.
Dry.
And the moon thing would definitely be the last thing ever.
Yeah.
You guys were right.
Yeah.
And Danny was incorrect about his radio wave signals, which Danny said that they did a contest, and baseballs could be thrown almost the distance that radio waves travel. So Danny's blithering idiot.
The good Dr. Kaku did say that he would need to do some calculations.
Yes, but he said that, as I once said, 3 degrees above absolute zero. I'm sorry to have to involve you in this argument. I said 3 degrees above absolute zero, and Danny said cookies.
Yeah.
As long as some alien race might at some point pick up our liquid ass commercials.
That would be wonderful.
Then I'm happy. Great. Dr. Kaku, thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
All right. Dr. Kaku.
So you guys were right. The moon stuff, I stand corrected.
Moon stuff?
And pyramid. Sounds like the answer from.
And I still stand behind my usable signal strength for radio and television waves.
Oh yes, just call Dr. Kaku.
He said calculations. He doesn't have.
Where's Dr. Steve? Dr. Steve hates Dr. Kaku.
Does he?
He drives me. Yeah,
I love it.
Every time Dr. Kaku's on, Dr. Steve sends me these awful things. He doesn't know shit.
Dr. Steve's hysterical.
Yeah, Dr. Steve's a psycho.
That's great though. Two doctors battling it out.
Dr. Steve.
I have faith in Dr. Steve.
I've never seen Dr. Kaku shove a finger in a homeless man's asshole before.
Well, you've never seen Dr. Kaku around the building then. That's all he does to the doorman.
At least when we call Dr. Kaku, he's wide awake and he's being productive. When we get Dr. Steve on the phone, what? I just woke up.
Yeah.
What?
I bet Dr.
And then you get
Kaku
emails
doesn't-
later. You get emails later on. Was I good on the radio this morning? Because I don't even remember what I said. Well, that's great because people are following your advice.
Sorry, I was picking crank out of my mustache.
I bet Dr. Kaku doesn't have time to make his own wine.
Yeah, exactly.
He's busy with an accelerator somewhere.
Exactly. Dr. Steve is drunk in the basement with purple shit on his toes and rotten raisins and grapes caught in his toenails. Trying to criticize the great Dr. Kaku with his fucking smart slacks rolled up.
He wakes up every morning and peeks out that front door hoping that he's not being called a fraud. Thank God they haven't found me out yet. It's just a matter of time.
Come on.
What is this, Dr. Steve?
Oh, no.
Dr. Steve rules.
Fucking Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve?
Yes.
Hi, Dr. Steve.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, sir. You weren't just listening to the radio, were you?
I was just feeding my kid. Sorry, I totally
See,
messed it.
Dr. Kaku's not feeding his kids.
We were talking. We had Dr. Kaku on, and we were just on the radio, on the phone.
Jimmy seems to have let us all on to the fact that you do not agree with Dr. Kaku many times.
Right.
Shut up.
Well, Danny said that radio waves kind of disintegrate or degenerate badly after 2 light years, and so we asked Dr. Kaku, and he said they probably go much further than that. They degenerate to 3 degrees above absolute zero. Well, how do you feel?
Yeah, no, he's right about that.
See, Danny is wrong.
I think what the argument really was that, I mean, you
change
can't.
The argument.
This radio show going out. I mean, if someone's 100 light years away, in 100 years, they're not hearing our words.
Right. They will hear us do a liquid ass commercial.
It's just going to be just white noise, brown noise, whatever you want to call it, and there's not going to be any distinguishable data
station
that will.
Well, this show particularly, is on 2.5 gigahertz or whatever. Although it would propagate through space pretty well, it's basically beamed at Earth. So,
well, I mean, let's just call it a regular radio station, an average radio station in the country. The signal is going to degenerate to such a point where it's going to be you would be unable to extract intelligent code or data.
With our technology, maybe, but I mean, somebody advanced enough to pick it up.
Yeah, they'll decipher that.
It's like anything else. If you got a shitty fucking antenna on top of your TV, it's not going to work as good as a good antenna on your roof, or it's not going to work as good as a satellite dish.
I think it's unfair to say that radio waves will just travel forever in space. As just a blanket statement like that, I think that's irresponsible.
Let me say something to Danny about this radio wave.
Okay, back to that. Yes.
Go get him.
Sorry, but he made a point. I just want to rebut it a little bit. They have a satellite out there called Opie, and what it did was measure microwave radiation that was emitted at the time just after the Big Bang. And those are radio waves that have been traveling to us since the beginning of the universe. So, and it was real sensitive and was able to pick up very small variations in this microwave background radiation. Now, I think that especially if someone is, let's say, 50 light years away from us right now, the signals from 50 years ago are going to be a lot sparser than they are now. Of course, right now we're blanketing the globe with static.
True.
But someone had a sensitive enough receiver and they were advanced enough, they could pull out that and at least tell that there is intelligent life out there.
Right, that it wasn't just some naturally occurring static from maybe a star or something else, that it was made by another intelligent being.
And the hallmark of a radio signal made by humans is it has a carrier wave, and static doesn't have that. So I think that they would definitely be able to pick up on intelligence, and
But it would be like the sound in Contact with Jodie Foster. Like it wouldn't be like just words and signals and stuff. I mean, it would just basically be noise, and you'd have to be looking for that noise and have some kind of instrument that would be able to decipher.
Well, yeah, but say somebody 10,000 years advanced from us.
It's called a radio receiver, my friend.
Danny! Oh, shit! Danny. Dr. Ross humiliated.
Just make fun of his wine, and you'll be back in the game.
If you listen to the whole of the radio spectrum, it's just a complete mess. But what you do with the receiver is you drill in on that one frequency that you want to listen to. I think it's doable. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, Dr. Steve.
It's like
Dr. Ross is
Dr. Ross was humiliated.
He does not concur.
Yes, according to Daniel Ross, that radio waves typically die before they hit the clouds. So basically, planes are using carrier pigeons.
Danny doesn't think the radio waves can make it through heaven.
I'm saying it's an unusable
But won't God
signal.
interpret them and listen to them?
I'm not saying that they don't exist, but they would be completely unusable beyond a certain point.
Well,
to our technology, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps.
And let's not forget where the argument was in the first place. It was what kind of evidence will there be of mankind when it is gone?
Right. That stuff's still traveling.
So 50 light years away, will anybody be able to detect the presence of human intelligence if there is none here anymore?
Yes.
Yes.
From degraded radio waves.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wait, I had one more.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, question?
Oh, would a K-Rock signal go farther since there are apparently no ears to interfere?
All right, Dr. Steve, it's a pleasure.
Dr. Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
You, my friends.